everybody, welcome back to the Honey and Absinthe After Hours podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Vincent, a background designer for the Hollywood animation industry.
And I'm Janet, the ex-Disney artist turned independent creator, and this is a podcast about all things art, business, and whatever we feel like.
You look just absolutely amazing. I just couldn't look away. You look amazing today. How good do they look?
They look really great.
Aw.
And you're going to have a really great week this week because you're listening to this podcast.
Oh, that's right. Aw, you're here with us.
Jingle all our bells and buttons because it really does help us out. And comment.
Today, we're going to talk about which art form is the most powerful. Janet, why did we come up with this topic?
Well, we were watching news coverage of the Grammys.
Man, nobody watched that.
Yeah. We obviously didn't watch it.
I had no idea. My friend
no idea.
texted me,
Yeah.
did you see Bruno? Well, everybody knows how amazing that new Bruno Mars song is with Anderson .Paak.
Oh, it's so good.
So fucking good. So good. But what I didn't know was he was performing at the Grammys, and what I didn't know was that the Grammys were taking place that weekend.
I literally didn't know until the next day, and everyone was talking about who won and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, the Grammys were yesterday? I had no idea. No one was talking about it? There's no news coverage that day of it?
Nope.
Did anyone know it was going on?
I didn't see any advertisements
I didn't
for
see
it.
anything. So we were talking about it, and apparently it did really bad. Like, I think
8 million.
Yeah, 8 million views.
That's what some YouTubers get that much in like a couple days or a day. Yeah. Come on now, man. 8 million.
And again, we had this conversation about how people don't care anymore about traditional media entertainment.
Mainstream entertainment.
Yeah, they don't really care about Hollywood. Where are they going? YouTube, the internet in general.
That's why you're here.
Yep. And we were talking about how, too, even like there are certain art forms that are more valued and people care more. Simply, their attention is there. I always say, like, no one cares about the artist because they don't, and that's just the life we live. But
we also don't want to be in the forefront anyway. We don't want to be the rock stars. We'd rather just, be in the back, making the little worlds, making the music, doing the things.
Yeah, most artists
kind of shy.
Probably wouldn't want to be in the limelight, though. Yeah. It seems like in the age of the internet that has changed because, going to school, working in Hollywood, it seems like the artists in Hollywood want to be like the people who have all the fame and notoriety in Hollywood. Sadly, I mean, that's not the case whatsoever. It's not like anyone knows all the artists behind your favorite movie.
Yeah.
You just know a few, maybe if you're savvy, the director. Mm-hmm. But even the director, a lot of people don't know who directed their favorite Marvel movie. A lot of people don't know all these stuff. So most people know Scarlett Johansson, they know Robert Downey Jr., but they might not know all the people, literally the hundreds of other people that went into making the movie happen, which is fine. It is what it is. But we were having this debate about which art form is most powerful in society.
Most persuasive, I'd say, too.
Yeah. Which one do people respect the most? Which one do people consume the most? Which one has the most power to change minds, to change culture?
Saying this kind of assumes we are saying there's a hierarchy to there's some arts that are just simply more effective than others. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're saying.
In terms of like
meritocracy.
Yeah. Yes. Like, technically art is subjective and there's no one true powerful most important form of art. Yes,
but say
in reality,
you wanted to brainwash people.
Yes.
Which art form would be the most effective?
Exactly. Yes.
That is what we are saying.
That we're talking is what
That
we're
is what we are
about.
talking. That is what this podcast is about.
Yeah, it's not truly how I feel about art. How I love all kinds of art,
Yeah, of course.
pretty much equally. But I'm saying what
Admittedly, that there are some that people respond to more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as much as we wish everyone would be as enthusiastic about all of the arts,
painting and
anime,
dance, whatever it is, that's simply just not the case in real life. And we were talking about, okay, let's rank them. We're going to talk about like drawing and painting, fine arts basically. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about film,
writing,
and we're talking about writing. And so I came up with a few different criteria that I think contributes to how persuasive a form of art is. So one is longevity, so how long it stays in your mind before it gets replaced by something else. Length of time it takes to consume it, so how long it takes to read a book, for example, or whatever. And then cultural value, how important people see it in culture, in everyday life, and that kind of thing. So, Vincent, what do you think is at the very bottom? People just do not care. Words?
Words. The written word. No one reads.
Yeah, no one reads anymore.
We read. I remember telling a friend, like, oh, I read a lot. There's a bunch of junk video game movie reviews.
Yeah.
I don't read anything stimulating. If that. But most days, just because it's more efficient while I get to work or whatever it is I do, and listen to a podcast or listen to an audiobook. Because I don't have to physically sit there and do the act. I can multitask,
But it's still different than sitting down and actually reading a book.
Yeah.
Like turning the pages of a book is just
that's an experience.
Different, yeah.
That's like, sitting down and listening to a record or watching a film.
Yeah, who does that?
It seems as though like the modern day person, their minds just can't focus on one thing. It has to be like split.
Yeah. Unless you make a conscious effort to, because it's your job. Like, you have to research. Anyone who has to do a lot of research, like I actually read a lot because I have to research so much for these YouTube videos and to learn how to be better at my job. So other than for that, people don't read anymore. So if you're trying to, cultural value, people don't, bookstores are going out of business.
Do people even like, there are 8 million people who pay attention, I guess, to the Grammys, right? Who keeps track of the Pulitzer Prizes and those types of awards? No one. Come on.
There's a reason why Borders went out of business.
Like, who won the Eisner last year? I don't know. Yeah. Do you know?
No, I have no idea. I have no idea. I feel like those best-selling books awards, I really wonder how hard could it be? I mean, how many books do you have to sell these days in order to be considered a bestseller?
I don't know.
Because how many people buy books?
I don't know.
Is the bar actually really low?
It seems like it would be.
So cultural value, people don't read.
But let's talk about real quick the value of books and literature.
I love books. Yeah. I love reading.
It makes your brain go like when you watch a Disney movie, it's like the opposite. It's like rotting your brain. But then reading books gives your brain life. Yeah.
So how I come up with a lot of my art, whatever art it is, like drawing, painting, YouTube videos, films, whatever. Yeah. Music, even a lot of those ideas I always tell people, and I know that they're not going to do it. They always ask how do you come up with such original ideas?
You've had to say this to some people at conventions, how do you come up with ideas? And then you say, I read a lot, then the answer's never satisfactory.
No, they look upset or confused and really? Yeah. I'm I read to come up with really interesting print ideas or drawing ideas, or like I read fiction, nonfiction, like I research. I do a lot to make.
Yeah.
And people think like, what do you watch? What do you look at? What other art do you consume? And I go like, I don't. That's why like I've really stopped browsing Instagram casually. I use it for work, yes. I use it to post ads for our YouTube videos and my art and that kind of stuff. It's important in that way for me as a creator, but I don't sit there for hours anymore like scrolling through Instagram, because I think it rots my mind. And it kind of does. Like once I stopped, I have so much more time to do other things.
You're inspired to do a lot of things.
Yeah. And when you find creative ways to replace those inspirations that you get, literally, like I call it, like it's in animation, in entertainment, and in Instagram. It's a very I hope I can say this word on YouTube, an incestuous relationship, where like people look at something whether subconsciously or not, they internalize it and they regurgitate it, and it becomes this copy of a copy of a copy, that everything starts looking a certain way. And when one person makes anything fairly original, all of a sudden everyone like consumes it and then puts out their variation of it until it happens again. So original thought and all that stuff kind of just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
On the internet, in entertainment, like a lot of our teachers in school who came from a different generation of illustration and art making would look at all of us, look at Instagram, look at animation especially, like they always just had snide comments about people in the entertainment arts like major, and they just be like, you guys all just draw the same and you guys all just look at each other. And I remember I was taking this teacher, David, was a fine art painter, and he's really great at teaching like oil painting and stuff. I took so many of his classes. He was great.
That's awesome.
I was such a baby at like learning about art and all that stuff. He told everyone to bring in like their favorite portrait artists and stuff like that. People brought in like Mark Ryden and like Sargent and all these like fine artists that I didn't know. I brought in like DeviantArt art because I'm a child of the internet, and he laughed at me, and he was kind of like, everyone brings in this, and like she brought in this, and then I think it was supposed to embarrass me, but I really wasn't embarrassed because I was just ignorant. I was just like, oh, okay, I still have bad taste and I need to like, you know, learn. So it's like, oh yeah, that's the attitude I think people have towards that stuff. And I used to be confused, just like in that story. I was confused. I was like, what? I gave you portrait stuff, right? I did the assignment though.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't embarrassed. I was just like, he wasn't trying to like, he was making an observation, I think, about just like the differences in different majors, I guess, different tastes and different stuff. And he didn't tell me I did the assignment wrong. Like, it's not like I failed, because I did do it right. Anyways, writing doesn't really have much longevity, because what people read these days are like tweets and blog articles. I like to call it...
Did you see Dilo Biden's dogs?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Doggies.
He's getting a cat.
So cute.
Wow.
So cute.
Why is this all I know about what the president is doing? Shouldn't I be reading something more important than the fact that he got a dog? But anyways, and then it takes too long to consume. So... people just don't read because they always say I don't have time. So writing is like the worst category for influence. So after writing, the next worst, it's a little bit better than writing and reading and that kind of thing.
But not very effective still.
Yeah, still not very effective, is art.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Like illustration, drawing.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Because I always say, again, like, just people just don't care about art. One, for length of time consumed, it's the opposite problem of reading something. People consume it by looking at it, and then it's gone. It literally takes a second. So I remember getting criticized when I was younger in college. Like, one teacher was like, you young people only look at something for like a second. You don't like really look. And I remember feeling a little offended and a little bit like, what are you talking about? I have no idea. But now I understand, especially with Instagram, people just scroll like this. They don't really, if they like something, they might pause for like half a second and then they like just keep scrolling. Like, I've watched kids do it, like when we're like out eating or whatever. They literally don't stop. But like for me, I'll look at something and then I'll look at something and then I'll look at something. Like, it's actually much slower than like the kids. Like they're getting faster and faster at consuming media. In particular because they're looking at TikToks and they're looking at Instagrams. So art doesn't take very long to consume, which also means the longevity of it, people don't remember it. Like, if you looked at a piece of my art, you're not going to remember it tomorrow.
You can go, oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, and then you're going to forget about it in like 2 seconds. Doesn't have longevity going for it. And then finally, cultural value.
Like we said, you're spending at most three hours on one thing. Yeah. You know how, like, then what? You post it up and then it just...
You get the likes and then it's useless. People, the general population who aren't artists, who don't care about art, they only ever buy art or care about art if it's on a thing. They don't even really necessarily understand that, like, sometimes products that you use are art in itself. Like, beautiful furniture or objects or whatever it is, if the more expensive it gets, it was made by an artist, a designer or whatever, someone that cared about the aesthetic value of the thing. If you did not care about that, just grab a folding chair, a plastic folding chair, then your house just looks like a school. And also people buy art on t-shirts. Most people don't buy art. Like, that's the thing. Like, when we first started selling at conventions and stuff, we realized very quickly that, like, we need to figure out a use for our art outside of it just being pretty and good and we like it. Because I always thought when we first started selling, why would anyone buy my art? I don't buy art. Or I didn't at the time. I started to after we started selling art, because I was like, oh, I want to support other artists and I want to own art because it's kind of special. If you've ever done it, if you ever commissioned an artist or bought something you really liked, it's a really special thing. But most people don't have that relationship with art. Most people, like, that WonderCon normally, pre-corona time, would get maybe over 100,000 people show up to the con. Most of them just walk through the aisles going like, oh cool. You look at what they're carrying. Are they carrying art that they bought? Mostly not.
It's exhibitor stuff.
Yeah, it's like t-shirts from their favorite brand that they wanted to buy, or a fandom that they wanted, whatever, toys, whatever. But they don't buy art. Even then, it's like they want something that means something to them, like fan art, or they, like, think about tattoos. People get tattoos of things that they love and things that mean something to them. Very rarely do people get tattoos because they like the image and they want it on their body, and there's that too. But think about everyone else, literally everyone else, who is like, I want to get a tattoo celebrating my mom, or this date that is really important, or just like, I really like Harley Quinn, so I'm gonna get a Harley Quinn tattoo. Like that. It's not usually because, oh, that art is pretty. They don't buy it because the art, like, the people who are really into that tattoo space might, but for the average person that gets tattoos, not really.
I think of anime a lot. And to me, anime is like, that's art, man. Anime is like the height of art right now. As a grandpa anime fan, it's like so, like, it means a lot to me to like slowly watch my baby, our everybody, like our baby, like finally creep into the mainstream culture.
I wouldn't call anime art.
What?
It's film.
Oh, I guess so. I know. But I don't know what to say. I agree with everything. I only can say that it's the same. It's this. I mean, people don't take the time to digest the thing. It's like when you said with websites that like people just want to get to a point A to point B and just consume the information or like buy the thing. If there are more obstacles to just get to the thing, people just won't even bother sometimes. And with art, if you're just trying to say a point with art, people are, and what, you're gonna put it on the wall, put it on the internet, it'll just get scrolled.
Yeah.
Or you walk past it. You know, it's not like the other art forms where the mode in which you consume the thing is different. Like with sound, you can't control, you can't just plug your ears and go, I'm not going to listen to it.
Yeah.
You're going to hear a song playing in somebody else's car even. But with art, like, unless you're really the type to take the time and look, which is almost barely anyone these days, no one gives a shit, man.
Yeah.
Are memes art?
Kind of. I think so. I think memes are art. I was really into the 9gags. Oh yeah.
In college, like way back in the day, and I held on to that thing for so long. But what I really liked about it was normal people were able to do comic-like stuff, sequential stuff. It's not like they had to design a character. It's not like they had to like know any sort of art skills. They could just get the clip art of the troll face or whatever it is, and then multiply him here and there, and then voila, you have a meme.
Yeah.
Write some shitty text about whatever bullshit, and then you have something, and then it can oftentimes be really funny.
I think memes are art.
Yeah.
Because I guess I just never considered it until you asked. I think they're like comics.
Yeah.
They're like 1, maybe 3 panel comics, and you'd be surprised how hard it is to do it well, to get a really funny one. And the memes that are good, like, there's a reason why certain shit posters are famous and have a massive following.
They're meme smithing.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Because not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
If you've ever tried, you'll very quickly realize you're not funny and you don't know how to tell a joke.
Like have you ever, your experiences, making a joke with comics?
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's
really difficult.
Because most people, when they're first starting, will state the obvious of what's happening in the picture. The best comics say something different with the image. So, for example, if I drew someone eating cake, you don't subtitle it, they're eating cake.
I'm eating cake.
Yeah. Because then
that's a waste of narrative real estate. Well, the way I like to think about it is something is revealed from the picture that can only be revealed with the words, and vice versa. You look at something and you think it's one thing, but you read the text and it's something completely different. You read, or vice versa, you read the text and look at the picture, it's something completely different too. It's just you're taking advantage of that much. It's like when you read comics and someone's like the unreliable narrator where he's saying something but then it looks like something else, or you've seen those instances in comics and that kind of stuff before. But I think that's how you maximize the potential of the medium.
Yeah.
Instead of going, Sally went to the grocery store, and Sally's in the grocery store.
Yeah. It should be like
Sally is contemplating her life
at the grocery store. Yeah.
feeling like a grain of sand among sand in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anything. Yeah. Literally anything other than stating the obvious.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what a good meme does.
Right.
Oftentimes with one panel, like it's usually the best ones are the shortest ones. They tell the joke in the shortest amount of time. And I think memes are art.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And it's like I think it's a neat way for we're talking about sampling a lot and the talent level of people who do sampling, and like sampling is an art. Yes. Right? You would agree.
Yes.
Sampling is a fucking art. It's hard. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people who sample kind of know that there are limitations with actually playing an instrument, you know?
Yeah.
And they make a collage of sorts to make their art. And it's sort of like the same thing. You're using, you know, a really crude apparatus, which is memes and these ugly drawings, but like at the end of the day you're expressing something.
Yeah. Like I don't necessarily think you need to be capable of drawing in order to be a good meme maker.
Right.
Which begs the question, do you have to be a good artist to be a good artist?
Yeah.
I guess not.
I think you know what, the more we think about it and the more we think about all sorts of different kinds of arts, it really, at the end of the day, it really is, what do you have to say with it?
Yeah.
You know?
In that way, memes have great longevity. Memes have great length of time consumed because it's fast.
Would you say more than Instagram posts?
Yeah.
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 Because they re-meme and then like kind of add to the meme and it becomes a whole thing.
Yeah. It communicates an idea with just like pictures and words,
right?
I guess together. I guess that's why it's slightly different than just plain painting or just plain writing. It's both combined.
Yeah, because the artist, who's an illustrator, let's say, has to communicate all of the ideas using all sorts of design techniques.
Yeah, some symbolism
that no one has the patience to observe or whatever.
No one's going to be like, that bird is a specific type of bird that means symbolically this thing.
Yeah,
and it's so deep.
And at this point in time, I don't think, I mean, it's always important to make art, but like, it's like making an art movie. Understanding like, if we're demanding more from our audiences, might not be commercially viable.
Yeah, which is okay.
Yeah, which is fine because people just want to make the thing.
Yeah.
Often.
And so, I guess the next one, in my opinion, is film.
So we got writing, arts, you know, drawing, painting, meme making, meme smithing, and then what is this? Movies and TV, you'd say?
TV,
precisely?
Anything, the moving image.
Yeah. Cinema, yeah.
I think that is, even commercials, I think that is fairly potent, like pretty potent, because everyone consumes video these days. Any kind of video. Whether it's Instagram, TikToks, YouTube, traditional movies and TV shows. It's like, I think more people consume video than they consume the still picture in comics or anything written. They just consume anything that moves because it's easy. You literally just have to whip out your phone or sit there on the couch, play something. You don't have to, most of the time the message is just served to you on a silver platter, and you don't have to think, you don't have to do anything. You just take it. You just
inhale it. You take it all in, you know?
Yeah. But I do think it is not as powerful of a persuasion form to get to people, to like brainwash people, compared to the number one thing, which we'll get to, obviously music. But because it's longer, typically. Movies are a few hours long these days. TV shows,
attention spans are getting shorter.
Yeah, to the point where now the most effective form of video is 15 seconds long, if that. So like a commercial, a TikTok. And it has to be that short in order for people to care to consume it. In terms of cultural value, it has a lot. People still love their movies. They still love their TV shows. they love anything that moves.
Yeah, back in the day, these things called blockbusters. People would flock to them in these really old things called theaters that no one goes to these days, and watch tons and tons of movies. And they would invest in all sorts of sequels and all that stuff. But like, it still requires time, and it still requires people to sit and be attentive. Mm-hmm. But movies is my favorite empathy generator. It's my favorite expression create generator.
Yeah.
For me, because I daydream a lot, and the things that play in my mind are like dreams, are like movies. They're like movies I see in my head, and when I see a really good movie, it feels like a really good dream. Mm-hmm. It feels like I had a really, really, really good dream. But how do you feel about movies personally, though?
I love them. I always gravitated to the moving image. So first it was cartoons and anime, and then it was animation, and then it became just movies in general. And all throughout, I loved YouTube. I really, truly, for me personally, I consumed more video content than I ever consumed, I guess, reading or drawing or whatever. I think you actually probably consumed more art than me, because you read a lot of comics and you drew. You simply just drew and were like more savvy with finding other good artists. Like, you would go to the library, check out those books and like copy it. Mm-hmm. And like, I didn't know to do that when I was younger. I loved YouTube, which is clearly why I'm on it now.
But we never planned for this. Where does video games stack in this list?
Probably in the same category of like entertainment, moving image.
The moving image.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say one is better than the other, or they're kind of just like, you would smush them all into the same, like, if it moves it.
I think.
Is there any differentiation that you would make in terms of persuading people of anything, or driving empathy with a video game like The Last of Us or something like that?
Video games, I guess, are inherently different because the point of it is that you are playing it. You are the main character. I think like films and TV shows and even commercials and short TikToks, the main focus of it is storytelling. Mm-hmm. So you're not necessarily trying to be the main character. You're trying to get other people to empathize with the main character. So film and that kind of thing is much more powerful, I think, than video games in terms of persuasion.
I see. I think so too, because I think video games, for me, it's all about, I'm a gameplay is king type of person. If it's not fun to play, I'm not playing it.
I'm the same way. I think gameplay is the most important part of a video game, and then like the story is just, and the art is just
icing on the cake. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to play a game with really good graphics, but is it fun to play? You know how you impart something with the audience with a movie. Mm-hmm. You think you can do that with a video game? Because I'm thinking God of War recently, because that's, to me, like, that did the movie thing of like, I felt all fuzzy inside and excited for the future, like a good blockbuster movie after you play that game.
I think it can, but I don't think that's the point.
The point is always going to be,
is it
fun to play? And if whether or not we love the story of Kratos and the kid, that's icing on the cake.
Yeah,
I see.
And it's also,
so we're not dissing you video game people. We're just I'm making doubly sure.
Oh,
it just seems like the point is, did you enjoy playing the game?
Yeah.
And these other mediums are mostly about what are you trying to say?
Yeah.
Right.
And can you change minds? Can you change culture?
Can you see things in a different person's way?
Yeah. Can you change things? Like, which art is more powerful? Does video game change culture? Not really. Most people.
It's influenced a lot of culture. You know, what do you think? Like shots in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Fashion.
But it's art influencing other art, not influencing people.
I see.
Like, people who play God of War might be like, oh, that's a neat father-son story. 2 weeks, do they care? versus, oh, Kramer versus Kramer, that's a great father-son story. You're crying by the end of it, potentially, and then you're like, or any Pixar movie, and you're like, oh, 10 years later, you're a grown adult, and you're still like, oh, yeah, I love that Pixar movie.
Oh, it still, punches you in the gut.
Yeah. So, I mean, does anyone, other than, for me, other than, your favorite video game of all time, and it has a lot to do with, nostalgia.
Half-Life 2.
Yeah, nostalgia.
Oh, yeah. That's my game.
Only that delivers that kind of visceral emotion in people.
Yeah.
And for everyone, it's going to be different because it depends on what you grew up with. Not necessarily, did it affect you story-wise, empathy-wise, did it change you as a human being?
Yeah, I think Half-Life 2 and Persona 3 changed me as a human being. But those are very rare occasions.
Yeah.
I think there's tons of movies that changed me.
And honestly, I'm not even
tons.
sure Persona meant to do that. I think you just reacted really strongly to that game. So cultural value, entertainment in general has a lot, but not as much compared to music because people consume it passively.
Yeah. So we're saying that's number one. Music is the number one art form, king of kings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think so. And maybe let us know your ranking.
Yeah. And this is we're just a bunch of idiots, right? We're not saying we're the professionals saying this is the official
It's just our
word.
opinion.
It's our opinion. We're just having fun. We're just talking. All right. So this is what we think. Music is number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's because music, in terms of length, is perfect. It's not too long. It's not too short. Most people can get through a song that they don't like.
Right. And let's say you're in a Lyft or you're in Uber. You can't not listen. You actively have to put on your own earbuds or close your ears or something.
Or ask to change the channel.
To not listen to something. And often, 99% of the time, you're just going to end up going, not my cup of tea, but I guess I'll just listen and bear through this while I go to the airport or whatever.
And then in terms of longevity, because it's very slogan-like and it's very rhythm, there's something about your brain that just immediately will, we get songs stuck in our head.
There's a really cool video of Dave Grohl talking about songwriting, and he says something like, the chorus is like a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
And the chorus is your slogan.
Yeah.
And it's not just and the beauty of music is, you watch a movie, you're probably not going to watch that movie again, unless it's your favorite movie, you watch it twice maybe, and then you don't watch it for a while. Your favorite song, first thing when you wake up, then you go to the gym, you listen to it again, then while you're doing the dishes, you listen to it again. And it's this, if you think about it, like we said, a slogan, this thing, that you're telling yourself, your whatever your feel good songs that you like. I think when we were in college, that Florence and the Machine song, "Dog Days Are Over," wasn't that in every commercial?
Yeah. Or now it's I put my head I don't even remember the Lizzo song. There you go.
Yeah, but whatever makes you feel uplifted or I'm gonna take on the day.
Yeah.
You're like, this is it. And I think that's powerful. That's really powerful. No one just visits their favorite museum. No one just buys a piece of art and stares at it every fucking hour. No one watches their favorite movie even every day or once a week. But people will listen to their favorite music every day.
Yeah.
Music is so important in culture.
Yeah.
It's infectious. It's the most infectious.
And
people cover the music. People sing the music.
Yeah. And people idolize. In terms of cultural value, people idolize the people who make the music, even if they didn't make the music.
Would you say musicians, artists, those types of music artists who use sound instead of paint or whatever, would you say they are the most valued in society?
Yes.
Number one, more than the directors or whatever.
More than filmmakers, more than animators, more than the fine artists, more than... They are rock stars. You know them for a reason. Not everyone knows the name of actors. You ask any young Gen Zer who does that, they'll go Captain Marvel? They don't know her name. But they know the name of their favorite singer or musician or whatever. That's powerful.
That's really powerful.
And also there's something about music with lyrics, even without lyrics, that can convey emotion and a point and a message in 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
That is not possible with film.
You don't need to sit there for an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah.
Like you feel like I love watching music reaction videos because sometimes they cry. And it's kind of like amusing and relatable too. Like maybe you really like the album that this person's reacting to and you're like, yeah, she cried or he cried, whatever.
Oh, for me it's listening to hip hop people listen to classic rock songs. Yeah. That blew up for the past couple of years. So like there are people reacting to all sorts of like classic stuff that I was raised with, going like, I've never heard this before, this is amazing, this is the most amazing thing. And it's just like, man, that's really cool that music can do that. Yeah. It doesn't even matter that like, you know, you listen to hip hop all your life, but you listen to this, like people I don't know, people are suddenly discovering Led Zeppelin and the Allman Brothers and all these crazy things. Oh, Nirvana. People are like, going through some weird Nirvana kick, like
Gen Z is just discovering Nirvana.
Yeah, which is like Kurt is really good at speaking for the youth.
Once again, he just comes back and is like, yeah, all you new teens, I have arrived. Yeah.
I understand your pain.
Angsty pain, yeah.
Exactly. And that's again powerful. Kurt Cobain dead for a long time now, but somehow generations have passed. A whole new generation has discovered his music and goes like, oh, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, this is so me.
This is so me. This isn't, you know, like, I don't exactly know what it is, but I identify with this for some reason, and that's the power of music.
Yeah, or like again in Eminem's song "Stan," like what Stan says about like when he's writing to Eminem and is like, oh, I really relate to that man. Like I feel this way, I feel that. Like there's something about music that like people really can feel what it is that you're. It's beyond just having a message.
Oh yeah,
it's making people feel the message.
What I love seeing is going into the comments for like Santana or Allman Brothers or these really old rock bands and going in the comments and seeing like, this music, I was in NAMM I was in NAMM and this music helped me survive.
Oh my god.
And that's just like, that is the power of music.
Yeah, everyone,
like that's truly something. You know,
it shapes generations.
Yeah.
It's like every generation has a certain era of music that kind of represents them, and it's amazing.
Oh fuck it, let's do it. Let's talk about politics. It's when the whole Daily Wire thing with the Run Hide Fight came out, that was kind of cool. But then seeing the direction in which it's going. Okay, for me personally, seeing all of the Candace Owens thing, like I love Candace too, but it's kind of like, I kept telling you, this is the weird upside down version of E. I don't like this. Like this is so gross. Like this is like Hollywood somehow, but like in a weird alternate dimension.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that either. And what I kept telling you was, you know what would have been awesome if like they made a music video or something, like Candace sung or like did something like I don't know, that like, you know, that's infectious. Like what if they like sing along to it, like we're about to talk, like what's that new rapper's name?
I think Tom McDonald.
Right, who's like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, facts don't care about your feelings and all that stuff. At least there's that. Yeah. But like, you know, seeing all these ads with Candace having photo shoots is a little cringe.
The sparkles
and the posing and like, oh, really, what is this? This is like, no, don't do this. Just make cool shit, please. Just make cool shit. Don't. This is fronting to me. This is like we're not really doing much, but like, let's pretend like we're having a photo shoot. Like Hollywood people can see right through this bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you guys just rented a space. You know, made it look like you're busy and everyone's actually like, oh, like here's all the PAs. No, I don't think so. And then, you know, you have this like faux style bullshit, and it's just like, no, do not do that.
It was my fear coming to life of like when Daily Wire announced that they're making their own production studio as just like a response in a way. It seemed like a response, but I also knew that like there's a want and need for something that isn't just one-sided narrative. I don't have a problem necessarily with all the stories coming out of Hollywood currently, because I'm sure there are plenty of well-meaning people who that is the story that speaks to them and that they want to tell. It's just that it's not their fault. It's kind of the system's fault, the machine's fault, that only their stories are being told. Like, it's not a variety of stories, and it's not from a variety of perspectives. It's from one singular perspective. I felt like there are so many rules. There's so many rules in Hollywood, like how most animated movies are quote unquote for kids and just silly stuff like that. That I felt like we're no longer in that place where anyone takes risks, anyone does anything even slightly controversial. Even if your point isn't to be controversial, even if it veers unintentionally that way, people will just be like, no, we're not doing it. So my hopes when I heard about this new production studio was I know what this could be. I know this could be a just weird a spite studio.
Oh man.
A spite production thing of like, well, fuck you, Hollywood, you suck, I'm gonna make my own Hollywood and it's gonna be so much better than yours. That's not really what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted a genuine like just effort of like, I want to make art and I want to make good art, and Hollywood isn't gonna have me, so
let's do something.
That's what I wanted, and I knew in my heart that I was like, there's a very small chance that that's actually what's happening. There's a much bigger chance that it's a spite production thing. And I also think Ben, I'm sure it's not just him, but like Ben is from LA. And people from LA know how this stuff works. And
that's why it looks authentically like
yeah.
like to me.
So
yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, you're so LA that you don't know how to not be LA.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live long enough to see Ben become everything he hates.
Yeah, no. Please. But we're like snowballing there.
Yeah, very fast. And I'm seeing that thing, I was like, this is not really what I wanted. This is not, I'm not sure anyone wanted this weird bizarro world version of Hollywood, but like it's right Hollywood, and then there's left Hollywood, and it's just, I just want art,
good storytelling,
good stuff. Yeah. So the reason why I think this is, and this pertains to like Daily Wire, and in a big way, like Tom McDonald. I think Tom McDonald is really,
I think he's more effective than the Daily Wire.
Yes.
1 million times more effective.
Because it's music.
Because it's,
but at the same time, like, his music is not for me, and that's fine. I enjoy it.
I mean, those beats are alright, and some of those bars are alright. But those choruses are awful. Yeah. The choruses are bad.
Like, the bumper sticker is awful.
Yeah.
But the rap is amazing.
Amazing.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right.
I like the rapping parts. I just wish the melody parts are better, the hooks.
Yeah, best not even just have that. Or get somebody else to do it. I don't
know. But, like, my problem with both is just, it's so heavy-handed. The messaging that
it's like, almost like you're pandering to the typical type of troll, like right-wing trolls. Facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, it's like when Hollywood musicians and films, as much as like I criticize it, Hollywood knows when something's good.
Yeah.
They genuinely like know like this is like Oscar worthy or whatever. And I think even if it has a certain message that is whatever, everything has like some kind of biased message to it. I'm fine with that. It's just I don't want to be beat over the head with it. So my favorite movies, for example, like Spotlight, could have easily been a Lifetime movie. Very easily. It could have been a little cheesy, a little heavy-handed, trying too hard to be overly dramatic, whatever. But it was done with so much care and nuance, and it's a great movie. And it won an Oscar, or I think several Oscars for, like, genuinely, I believe that movie. I forget what other movies it was competing with.
It was a good year. I remember that was
a
really good year. Like that was that year with, and then a little bit after that, Birdman, and then what is that, Whiplash and all this stuff. That was the last year cinema was good.
Yeah, and we genuinely
watching Revenant in theater.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the last time.
But a lot of conservative entertainment is really heavy-handed. There's no nuance there. It's just like, clown world. I'm literally gonna dress up as a clown. I'm literally call you a clown. Or I'm literally gonna use Ben's slogan. Facts don't care about your feelings. But, like, I hate that. In the same way, like, I realized as I was thinking about this, Rage Against the Machine does the same thing.
Yeah.
And I hate that, too. And I go, like, can you stop using just slogans? Can't you, like...
come up with something original?
Yeah. It's a little bit cringy and it's cliche.
Yes,
it's cliche at the end of the day. The commercial that we saw.
Which one?
It was, like... of the teens. It was like so many other shows we've seen before, but it was like weird 2021 version.
It was like there's this show in HBO Max that reminds me of Skins.
Yeah.
And what I loved about Skins was like, here's a bunch of ragtag don't have it together fucking kids who do drugs and do awful shit, and then
trying to deal with being a teenager,
and then going through the woes of being a young person. But seeing this, it was just the same, but like with a new coat of like 2020 paint. 2021,
with
just like
all
this
the like identity politics stuff that I'm like, do kids, if this is what kids are dealing with now in the dating sphere, in the
what have we done,
how to navigate being a teenager,
that shit's already hard.
I was like, I feel sorry.
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking. Like, I feel sorry for kids. I feel so bad for kids. They can't even talk or relate to each other anymore.
No. And they're getting served the stuff that's telling them, like...
they can't talk or relate to each other anymore. Yeah.
Oh my god, it was awful.
But who's doing the greatest in the world right now?
For some reason, it feels like China is.
Yeah.
We had this conversation about, like, how we're suffering because of all of this. Our music... occasionally we'll have some really great music. For the most part, we get... like
the Bruno Mars Anderson .Paak thing.
Was so good.
That was the first time in a long time. I think the past 3 years I was interested in music again. I was like, what a beautiful song.
I would look at like all of the new songs coming out, all the stunts that are pulled like WAP and whatever, and I'm just bored. Like, I don't feel either way about it. I'm just like, oh, okay. It's not for me, and I don't care. I don't like it. I don't want to watch. I can clearly tell this is a stunt too, and a publicity thing, and so I just like, everyone is going to jump on the bandwagon and use it for TikTok and all this stuff or whatever, but like, it's not genuinely music that I want to like put on. But the Bruno Mars Anderson .Paak thing, was so good. I was like, oh my god, the video is amazing. The
music is the singing. I saw, fashion is amazing.
Yeah, amazing. I saw the Lacoste advertisement because they were all wearing Lacoste.
It was done in Super 8.
Yeah, it was done in Super 8, and I was like, that's so good.
Yeah.
And everything about it, I was like,
I saw the Lacoste ads on some buses, and the photos were really cool.
They're so good.
They're so cool.
They're so classy too.
Yeah.
And
It's just this like whatever that this campaign is doing, they're going for this like remember this shit type of vibe, and me going, oh, I remember that shit. Can we go back to that shit? You know.
Finally, like
you're speaking. The culture's speaking to me.
us,
Please say, continue.
We
We know that big executives watch us. Whatever it is, pay attention to what Bruno Mars, that Anderson .Paak, and that campaign is doing. That Lacoste campaign is doing, because they're doing whatever is correct.
They're just so good
across the board. That's the first time I've seen something in mainstream culture, in movies, video games, literature, whatever, that I was like, fuck yeah. That. Let's do that.
Yeah,
let's keep doing that.
More of that.
Yeah.
From like a genuine love of that.
Of our history.
Not
of like what we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I thought too, like, that's such a nice everything. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, the message that WAP is sending to our young, like, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. WAP is a fun song.
It's whatever.
Come on.
It's very
it's like
whatever.
Like,
I don't
if it was
care.
playing at the club, you'd be like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it means this.
Whatever.
Whatever. But, you know, I don't necessarily want to watch that music video, especially in public. It's a little like, whoa. What are you watching? But like, I could definitely watch that and admire the fashion, admire the filmmaking, admire the like the when they tap the drums all and do the stab all at the same time right at the beginning of the song, and they like do a move. I was like, oh, that's so classy.
Yeah.
And when all the girls go like swoon all at the same time, and the boys are like checking them out all, and I was like, man, it's such a vibe.
Yeah. Bygone era.
Yeah.
You know?
And the fashion was amazing. I just love it. Was art.
Yeah, truly.
Other than that being like an exception to what has been happening.
That's the first success in a while. Very good job, everyone.
Feels like China is making bank in the box office. The amount of money that they made, I think this past weekend, was kind of insane to me, and how well they've been doing just in general, everything. We started thinking like, is China going to overtake the US? We've been thinking about this actually a lot.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
think we have this conversation once every 3 months, I'd say. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, looks like we're still on that track.
I would ask you all the time, how's China's old 1,000-year plan going?
I'm like, it's going great. It's going better than they could have ever imagined.
We're in the NBA, we're in the movies, we're in the politics. We got them.
Yeah.
We got them.
And I always have known that like China wants to be the next Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because they've always poached talent. And you were saying like you don't believe China will ever.
Yeah.
Because of inherently what the US represents.
What it's about. Yeah.
And the people that
we are. Like it's kind of like, it's like a feature, not a flaw. That we're just brutishly individualistic. And that I just think if you like, I don't think if you have a country where you're kind of allowed to be an individual, and of course there's a lot of societal pressure, but if that's your goal in life, seems like you do whatever you want here.
Yeah.
And seems like you could create whatever you want here. And I just think, call me idealistic, but unless your country has that, I don't think you're ever going to be number one. Sorry.
I think I disagree.
Yeah.
Partly because of what recently has been happening. Recently as in like the past 10 years, I guess. And even before that. And where I just see the US going in a certain direction that is not good in terms of culture, in terms of innovation, in terms of all these things. And I think it's more of like, if the U.S. continues on this path. Yes.
Where is it going? What path is this?
We're eating ourselves. Oh. we can't seem to say or do any kind of art that is meaningful or good. People literally don't care anymore. They're not watching the ground. They're finding weird ways to not be eaten by going to the internet, the wild, wild west, or it used to be.
Yeah.
But people are even like chasing after them there.
Yeah.
And people are just trying their damnedest to make sure crypto isn't going to be a thing. And like I feel like it's too late at this point.
I was like, when we saw them poison the crypto well, I was like, these fucking assholes.
Yeah,
they won't let artists win. Yeah. It's just like really, like, I mean, like, it just seems to me after Elon Musk kept fronting with the crypto and going, haha, bitches, we're gonna be able to accept crypto and all this stuff, a lot of animosity was made. And you know, we've seen a lot of any kind of campaign come up. We saw a campaign.
Yeah.
We definitely saw a campaign.
That was trying to...
There were these articles. There was never talk about anything about like crypto being harmful or anything. And all of a sudden, like there was a day where like, what is it, Mashable? Yeah. All of these articles came out that crypto is bad for the environment. And I'm just like, motherfucker, oil paint is bad for the environment.
Spray paint.
There are
acrylic paint.
Are brain cells I don't have anymore because of oil paint.
The fumes.
Give me a fucking break. I'm just trying to be an artist, trying to create stuff. Yet, like, fuck, like whoever the powers that be just want to keep squashing artists somehow.
The articles came out all at the same time on the same day, and it was all.
And at the same time, we were getting really excited.
It was,
and you did
hype.
So much.
I did so much
research.
Oh my god! And I saw a lot of hypocrisy in that.
Yeah, a lot of people who made their gains going like, oh, I'm never going to do an NFT.
Yeah, I did it, but I'm never going to do it.
Wouldn't it be great if you kind of donated all of the money that you made?
And continue making because you get royalties.
Yeah. Oh, see?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah. And then they're trying to shame artists.
Jesus Christ, is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I'm just like, the environmentalists are always the start of stuff, weird political campaigns like this, like Occupy, and then it became Antifa, and then it became this. It's just like, it's weird. It's weird, and I don't buy it until like I'm not someone who's very conspiratorial, but I'm just like, I don't know, man. But this crypto thing looks cool. Like, there's nothing you can do to shame. Clearly, there's nothing you can do to shame me into whatever.
Not doing the art.
Yeah.
If Janet Chan's gonna do art, she's gonna do art. If people can still rot their brain cells with huffing the good old Gamsol, then certainly you can.
Yeah, seriously, I feel like making the amount of acrylic and oil paintings that we both have made in our lifetimes, probably worse.
Yeah.
Probably worse for the environment.
Do you know what acrylic paint is? It's plastic, everybody.
We went through so many tubes of plastic.
It's plastic.
Like it was nothing. Straight into the water.
Yep. I mean, how are our brushes gonna get washed? Oh my God! Imagine this, like, just this like dominoes, this huge campaign to kill traditional art.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! What have we done?
What's worse for the environment?
Digital art or traditional art? Okay, we need to preemptively talk about this. Because that's what people are gonna do. We're gonna predict what they're doing, which is they're gonna say what's harmful to the environment, digital art or whatever. They're gonna squash all of the people who make paint and art shit.
So sad.
And then digital stuff is just gonna be the norm now.
Oh no.
What a fucking horrible future that would be.
And then traditional art's value is gonna skyrocket.
Oh shit. And then it'll be like prohibition. It's like, man, can you oil paint? Motherfucker, do you oil paint? It's like painting with like heroin or something. It's like illegal to use oil paint these days. How dare you? This is how absurd society. So we are recording this in almost the middle of March. if the future so happens to be that there is a campaign that says traditional art is harmful for the environment, we said it first, and it's because you fuckers on the left are so fucking predictable.
Yeah, you eat, again.
Truly,
you eat yourselves.
You eat yourselves. Like it's so obvious to us at this point what you're gonna do. It's so obvious and predictable. So go ahead and do it. At least we predicted it.
I dare you.
I dare you. I fucking dare you. Please, I beg you, do it. Go ahead. Yeah. The environment's really important. We shouldn't be just throwing tons and tubes of melted plastic into the water. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. It's so absurd. And this NFT thing, the way they harvest mine, they say the NFTs also harmful. Awful.
I would totally never do any of that. I totally have never done any of that.
Totally never done that. What do you think I am?
But so we were talking about like if China, I think China is going to overtake the U.S. partly because the U.S. again eating itself.
Yeah, I think so too. If we can't get out of this, like Scott said today, it was really cool because I was thinking about it too. But Scott said like we're notorious at breaking ourselves and then reinventing ourselves. Yeah. And I was just like
when you think we're gonna eat ourselves,
something happens and we don't. And I'm just like, I can see that happening. And like I think oftentimes you're the optimist. And I'm the pessimist, but this is more, I don't know. I feel in my heart we'll be okay. But like what it is, like I told you, like the only reason why that could be a possibility is if people like us exist. And if we inspire people like us to make their art and say what they want to say what they need to say. Yeah. As long as people like us exist, I think China will never win. But if the world finds a way to silence even people like us,
the individual,
it's over. Yeah. I think it's over for America. If you silence truly snuff out us individuals, it's over.
Yeah. So I was thinking, China has they seem all powerful right now, especially how just I guess in not the best of situations as a country, we are in comparison. They just seem so much more in control.
But they're fronting like they are.
Yeah. And it's because like again with the whole like they want to be Hollywood. They have always wanted to be Hollywood, and they have poached talent in almost every industry. But I've seen it happen in Hollywood, where they will pluck people from Hollywood and who were not given the, I guess, titles and the promotions that they honestly could have received, but literally there's only room for so many top powerful people in Hollywood. There's only room for so much. So they know exactly like people want money and they want power, so let's give them that. Yeah. So they'll pluck lower ranking people from their jobs. So
say Hollywood.
Yeah, like Hollywood, and be like, oh, you're gonna be head of story now. You're gonna be director. You're gonna work for us now. And they get paid very well, and they get taken care of. They get the power that they want, all the stuff. So they poach. They poach in order to come up with art, to innovate, which isn't great. Because what does that say about your inability to create talent, to create innovative new ideas?
It says that you can't cultivate yourself. You have to get it elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. But they're trying, because I like to call it that they are breeding.
Ew.
They're breeding people to be excellent.
What do you mean by this?
Things.
They're test tube people?
I actually think yes.
What?
But they select people to be certain things. So like for the best example is Olympians. Their Olympians are like hand selected from like there's a reason why China wins gold for like gymnastics and certain sports all the time, because they okay, we need the perfect body. And it's easier with athletics because if you are built a certain way, you have an advantage. But with intelligence, how does that work? Like, how do you breed intelligence in people? So I was like having this like mental exercise, I guess, for myself. Let's say there's like a Chinese Elon Musk out there right now, like, but he's like really young, like 3 years old or whatever. Let's say he's really poor though. Like, he is not in a well-off family. He doesn't have status, whatever. There's no real way for this person to have upward mobility enough to become the Chinese Elon Musk one day. Because you look at so many examples of this, of powerful people in China, in the arts, in technology. There's a limit to what they are allowed to do and say. So Fan Bingbing, for example, you can become their like most popular actress. Like, imagine like the US basically disappearing our most popular actress.
Like I think when it happened, I was like, that's like disappearing Scarlett Johansson or Emma Stone or something.
At the height of their popularity. Right. And then they come back and they go like, I'm really sorry, and I said this thing and I love China, and I'm awful. I'm just gonna disappear into obscurity now. And I'm so grateful for this great country. And like, that's scary. And it's not just her. Jack Ma is basically like the Jeff Bezos of China. Same amount of like similar wealth and like status, all this stuff. And when you get to that amount, that like very powerful position, you had to have been a little bit of a individualist who you're like, oh, I clawed my way up here, I built this thing, I'm powerful, I am Jack Ma. He starts saying some stuff, disappeared, comes back, does a similar apology tour of like, I'm so sorry, praise this country,
praise the CCP.
Yeah. And it's like, what do you think that does to a person and their ability to innovate and think, when the government, right when you get a little bit too individualistic, tells you, no, you can't do that though, like, you can't think that, you can't, and who knows what the people who get disappeared in China, what they are threatened with. Because I really wonder, like, the reason why I think in the United States, there's, as much as people want to get rid of the individual and tell people that it's bad to be an individual, join us, join our group.
Join us, one of us. I
think the reason why individuals, people who still are like, no, I'm myself, and you can't make me do anything or say anything that I don't believe in. I think the reason why that still exists in the US is because even though there are people coming for that currently, that idea, it's still impossible to truly 100% end a human being through cancellation. You can, in a way, unperson someone online, but I've never really heard of anyone going homeless because they got canceled. I've heard, like, people get ruined, yes, but they don't go homeless. They find a way. There's still ways to survive, even if society decides to cancel you or whatever. But in China, who knows what happens to you? So I think that's China's failing. That, like, by the nature of what they are, it lacks innovation.
So unless America gets its shit together, China's on its way.
Yeah.
But in a way, not really, because they can't seem to innovate, because they can't seem to have that inventive spirit. I don't know how else to say it.
But aren't we in the same position?
But we're in the same position, right?
Yeah. So if we keep going, like, we still have innovation. We still have, like, the greatest minds and people who are just like, I'm an individual, I am me, and I have my own thoughts. That's inherently necessary to be an innovator. To like, yes, Elon Musk might be really upsetting to a lot of people because his opinions don't align with yours, but he's Elon Musk and he's sent rockets to space. You can't really have one over the other. You can't be like, you must think like me. He's Elon Musk. He's gonna do what he's gonna do.
So today I'm going to recommend this interview between Rick Rubin and Mike Shinoda. Mike Shinoda, what do you think about Mike Shinoda, Janet-chan?
I like his music.
Yeah, I mean, graduated from our school.
Yeah.
You know, it's when we listen to it, we just kept thinking, this sounds like one of us.
This is the Art Center anthem.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? 90% pain, or like
20% pleasure.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That one song that he did.
But he was talking about how he was having piano lessons, and he just kept talking about those were my foundations. I was just like,
sounds like an Art Center student talking.
Yeah, and there's a lot of just really inspiring things about him, like, you know, working hard and, you know, making songs for his friends and just being a really neat artist.
For those who don't know, Mike Shinoda is one part of Linkin Park.
Right. The MC. He also writes a lot of the songs and the beats too. So
yeah, very talented.
Very talented.
And he
person.
has his own band, I guess.
I think he has. Yeah, but he's been streaming a lot lately, so that's pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Make sure to like, jingle all our bells and buttons. Check out these other videos to binge all our other episodes. Head over to honeyandabsinthe.com to help support this channel by buying some merch. I am wearing the Honey and Absinthe sweater today. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye.